So this rod came out in about 2002, 2003. It's quite old, but it's got a very large cult following, and it's probably one of the world's most famous rods. If you haven't guessed it already, it is in fact a Sage TCR. Now, this is a TCR 590-4, and I've paired it with a Ballistic Pro Performance 5-weight line because we're going to try some fishing casts as well as go for what I would consider fishing distance on a large lake, for example. Now, it was quite controversial when it came out because it was quite a lot stiffer than most of the rods on the market. But if you're just getting into distance casting, competition distance, etc., then you don't need to spend £1,000 on the latest and greatest rod. You can find some great deals secondhand. So that's just the thing that I'd like to say about that. But yeah, so I've got a tape measure set up here. We're going to do some fishing casts as well as go for distance and see how we get on. Now, I'm just going to restack my line over here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with some roll casting. Okay. And I'm going to just roll cast the leader. If you see my last video, you will notice that I have quite a few drills that you can try. And this is very good for dialing in a brand new rod, for example, or just seeing what's going on with your casting. So because I have it's about a 3 meter leader, okay. In fact, it's a little bit shorter. And I'm just going to roll cast off the side with just the leader. Okay. So you can get very nice tight loops with just the leader. And it's great. Okay. You can add a little bit more line, do exactly the same. Now, the reason I'm roll casting on the side is because I still want an anchor. If I came up to a normal roll casting position with the rod canted over here, then the leader would just be floating in midair pretty much with a short amount of line. So with a short amount of line, you can still roll cast, but try and do it off the side. Now, as you get more line, you can come up into a more conventional roll casting position, and that creates very nice tight loops with this rod. Exceptional. You can even try it for mends. So we're going to try some mending now. So some ripper casting. There's a mend to the right. And we try it on the other side. Mend to the left. And they are very sharp and pointy. All I'm doing there is for the right hand one, I'm drawing a number 7. And for the other side, I'm doing a 7 as a mirror image, the opposite direction. And you can do a 7 around the target. That's quite a good tip. Okay. You can even do loads of other fancy casts as well. You can do a bucket mend or rat's nest cast, depending on where you're from. Very good for putting a load of slack in a fast current, for example. There's quite a few uses for that. But let's have a go for distance, okay? So I'm going to start off with a short amount of line, get these nice tight loops going backwards and forwards. Very nice sharp loops with hardly any tip bounce on here. Excellent. So let's see how far that's gone. Now, the problem with this field that I've found is that the wind is very swirly. So at the moment now, it's coming towards you. It's coming towards the camera, which is quite annoying when you want to practice. In fact, now we're going into a headwind. So we're going to see whereabouts that line has gone. So I can see the bit of fluff at the end. Go over here. There it is. It's on this little bit of mud here. So I'll go over, put my foot there. and that is on 97, 97.7. Okay, so that's not going for it. That's what I would consider a normal fishing distance cast with a 5-weight line. And it is actually a true to weight 5-weight line because we have to weigh them all in competition. And I've put a nice bit of line slick on there as well. So I'll put you back on the tripod and then I'll talk to you. So, so to take away from that, you don't have to spend a lot of money on the latest and greatest fly rod. Practice with the gear that you have now. And then when you get more into it, then you can start looking at slightly stiffer rods and look at the secondhand market because there are hundreds out there. A TCR is a bit more difficult to get because people like to collect them. And if you are getting one, try and find one with a serial number that starts with X. That's really important. That was um, the later fly rods that they made, and they're just a little bit stiffer than the other serial numbers. So take a look and see how you get on. But yes, it's a very, very good fly rod, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on the latest and greatest. So let me know how you get on, and thanks for watching. Cheers.